the streets we walk every day rarely hint at the vast world hiding just out of sight. Beneath the roar of traffic and towering buildings, there's a hidden network and underworld filled with stories of brilliant engineering, forgotten dreams, and sometimes unsettling surprises. Today, let's head underground, shining a light on the layers that make a modern metropolis possible. When city dwellers look down, they usually see concrete, but that pavement hides a layered cake of asphalt, soil, cables, pipelines, and utility lines. If you could slice through the ground, you'd find telephone wires, power lines, and internet cables first. Deeper down are gas pipelines, and below that, water mains. Each of these layers has a history, like how early 19th century cities once relied on dingy wells and sometimes even had to haul water in by boat. Over time, officials realized a more permanent solution was needed, so they built massive aqueducts to bring clean water from faraway reservoirs. Even if the original tunnels have been replaced or expanded, pieces of that old infrastructure are still down there, a testament to how necessity shapes a city. Underground bunkers and shelters. During periods of global uncertainty such as the Cold War, numerous cities around the world dug below their surfaces to build hidden bunkers and fallout shelters. The original intent was clear: provide safe havens for citizens in case of nuclear attack or widespread bombing. Depending on the city, these fortifications could range from compact basement shelters to vast, maze-like complexes fit for thousands of people. Today, many of these structures lie dormant, sealed off behind heavy steel doors and forgotten by most who walk above them. Interestingly, some bunkers have since been repurposed or quietly maintained as emergency contingency sites. Local governments might stockpile non-perishable foods, medical supplies, or even generators there, ensuring a rapid response if disaster strikes, be it man-made or natural. In some cases, these spaces are used for mundane storage, while in others, homeless communities find temporary refuge within the strong concrete walls. Yet even in their current, often neglected state, these bunkers serve as stark reminders of a time when the world truly feared it might have to survive underground. Geological foundations and rock tunneling. The bedrock beneath a city isn't just a stable platform for skyscrapers. It profoundly influences every subterranean endeavor. In some places, the geology is favorable. Thick granite or limestone can be drilled with relative ease, producing solid, structurally sound tunnels. In others, unstable soil or fault lines can complicate projects, forcing engineers to utilize intricate reinforcement methods like ground freezing or specialized tunnel boring machines. These geological realities often dictate how deep a city can expand downward. Digging or drilling into bedrock typically involves meticulous planning. Geologists and engineers analyze core samples, monitor groundwater levels, and account for seismic risks. Sometimes, despite the best planning, nature asserts itself. Water seeps through cracks, or unexpected rock compositions slow drilling to a crawl. Ultimately, the geological foundation can become both an ally and an obstacle. But with each challenge overcome, a city gains everything from more efficient transportation routes to innovative underground commercial districts. Underground energy systems. While steam pipes are a classic example of subterranean energy distribution, the modern era has spurred cities to adopt cleaner and more efficient solutions beneath the streets. Some are experimenting with geothermal heating and cooling, where naturally occurring underground temperatures help stabilize building climates. Others harness the residual heat generated by subway networks to warm adjacent structures. In either case, the underlying principle is the same: the Earth's crust can be used as a giant thermal reservoir, cutting energy costs and reducing carbon footprints. Moving forward, engineers see potential in expanding these underground energy grids. District-wide systems where multiple buildings share heating and cooling networks can drastically reduce greenhouse gas emissions. By channeling waste heat from tunnels or tapping into stable geothermal pockets, entire neighborhoods can benefit. It's a prime example of how subterranean spaces, often overlooked, can be pivotal in shaping a city's sustainable future. Historic sewer systems and sanitation. Before comprehensive sewer systems, many metropolitan areas struggled with open drains, polluted wells, and rampant disease. Cholera outbreaks were alarmingly common in the 19th century, largely due to contaminated water. The shift to enclosed brick sewers revolutionized public health, drastically reducing illness. These tunnels, often constructed below street level, represented the cutting-edge infrastructure of their time, marrying civil engineering with an urgent societal need. Today's sanitation networks are far more sophisticated, involving massive trunk lines, waste treatment facilities, and even combined storm overflow systems. In older neighborhoods, vestiges of the original 19th century brick tunnels may still exist, partially or wholly abandoned. They're a haunting testament to the city's battle against disease and poor living conditions. Modern upgrades continue to be added, but those early sewer projects remain the bedrock of urban sanitation, demonstrating how hidden networks can quietly transform everyday life. Hidden art scenes and urban exploration. Not all subterranean spaces are strictly functional. Some, like disused subway stations or forgotten utility corridors, spark creativity among locals. Graffiti artists and urban explorers venture into these dimly lit corridors to craft elaborate murals or photo essays that might never see the light of day. Literally, these clandestine galleries often showcase raw talent, sometimes elevating street art to breathtaking levels of artistry. Urban exploration, often called urbex, goes beyond mere sightseeing. Participants document crumbling architecture, rusted machinery, and the interplay of light and shadow in places no longer visited by the public. The resulting imagery and stories offer a glimpse into lost histories and vanished ways of life. While authorities typically frown on trespassing, many explorers argue that these hidden passages shouldn't be left in total obscurity. After all, they embody part of a city's cultural heritage, even if they exist outside of official recognition. Underground markets and storefronts. In some urban centers, commercial activity isn't confined to street level. Subway stations and underground walkways can evolve into bustling marketplaces lined with small shops, eateries, and even mini groceries. Commuters rushing to catch a train might pick up breakfast or last-minute gifts without ever stepping into daylight. These subterranean shopping corridors thrive on convenience, offering safe, weather-protected pathway from the 19th and early 20th centuries further illustrates how cities extended store basements beneath sidewalks. Subterranean extensions of street-level businesses. Though many of these have been replaced or covered up, remnants still exist in older districts. Together, they hint at how commerce can seep into every nook and cranny of a city, sometimes even shaping the way sidewalks and plazas are designed. Archaeological discoveries and artifacts. Whenever a major construction project breaks ground in a historic district, there's a real possibility of unearthing artifacts, old coins, pottery shards, or the foundations of centuries-old structures. These unexpected finds often prompt official archaeologists to step in and pause development. In some regions, laws mandate a thorough examination of any site that shows evidence of prior habitation. Such discoveries do more than delay construction, they offer invaluable insights into the everyday lives of past residents. Whether it's remnants of a 17th century settlement or personal keepsakes from the early industrial era, each artifact has a story to tell. This practice of urban archaeology underscores how cities are layered in time, with modern apartments rising directly above the footprints of long-gone shops, schools, or entire communities. For historians and locals alike, these subterranean artifacts form a tangible link to their collective heritage. Underground rivers and waterways. Many modern cities were built around waterways, rivers, streams, or creeks because of their importance for trade and sustenance. As urban sprawl overtook nature, city planners often buried or culverted these smaller watercourses, redirecting them through underground channels. This allowed builders to claim more surface area for roads and buildings, but it also hid the natural ecosystems from sight. Over time, some of these submerged rivers cause flash flooding or infrastructural stress, especially especially when heavy rains push storm drains to their limits. In response, a movement called a daylighting has emerged. Communities work to uncover or restore sections of these hidden streams, creating urban parks and flood mitigation projects. It's a delicate balance: reveal too much, and you risk widespread flooding; reveal too little, and the waterways remain entombed. Still, the very concept underscores our evolving relationship with nature, an acknowledgement that even the most concrete-laden city rests on a network of living, flowing water below the surface. Early rail experiments and forgotten subways. We tend to credit London for the world's first subway, 1863, but other cities toyed with their own underground railroads around the same time. Some early tunnels were sealed and abandoned only to be rediscovered by adventurous explorers or utility workers. A century later, one such tunnel, believed to house an old steam locomotive, is the stuff of legend. Did the city really brick it off, train and all? No one's quite sure, but it makes for an irresistible urban myth. Secret train platforms under luxury hotels. High-profile guests think presidents, generals, or VIPs used covert platforms beneath certain hotels, traveling by private railcar to avoid prying eyes. One rumor claims a special elevator ferried a bulletproof limo straight from the train tracks to a secret garage. The truth is more nuanced, but there's no doubt some of these discreet sightings existed, used for hush-hush comings and goings. Parks built on displaced communities. Many beloved city parks replaced entire neighborhoods. One 19th-century African-American community was uprooted when officials decided they needed a grand public green space. Archaeologists have found remnants, foundations, personal belongings of the families who once lived there. The sewer alligator legend. We've all heard it: alligators lurking in the sewer. In reality, any reptile flushed into the drainage system wouldn't last long in cold, toxic conditions. Yet, local headlines sometimes pop up with police discovering a baby gator in a storm drain or an abandoned pet that got loose. The legend endures because it's just so bizarre and slightly thrilling to imagine scaly creatures prowling in the dark. Underground parking and megastructures. In densely populated cities, space is a luxury, so engineers have increasingly looked below ground for parking and other large-scale facilities. Multi-level subterranean garages can stretch several stories deep, holding thousands of vehicles. They free up surface land for parks, businesses, and pedestrian plazas, while also shielding parked cars from heat, cold, or storm damage. This trend extends to megastructures, where entire sports arenas or convention halls are partially sunken to reduce noise or blend better with surrounding architecture. Beyond sheer functionality, these underground facilities highlight how urban design adapts to modern needs. Building downward calls for advanced excavation and ventilation systems, ensuring fresh air and a safe environment. Yet for daily commuters, these garages simply become part of the routine: descend, park, then ascend into the bustle of city life. It's a classic example of how subterranean solutions can manage the realities of crowded cityscapes and reshape how we think about useful space. Subterranean data centers. As the digital era accelerates, some companies and institutions have taken their data centers underground. From repurposed military bunkers to deep limestone caverns, these spaces provide stable temperatures and physical security for countless servers whirring away 24/7. In many cases, the cool underground environment helps reduce energy consumption, cutting down on the massive costs required to keep servers from overheating. For tech firms, such sites offer more than efficient climate control. They're also protected from natural disasters, electromagnetic pulses, and even prying eyes. On a human level, it's striking to realize our everyday digital interactions: emails, streaming movies, mobile apps may be supported by rows of servers hidden in a subterranean fortress. It's a reminder that the virtual world still relies on very tangible, very physical structures rooted in the earth. Abandoned mines beneath cities. Not all urban underworlds were designed for modern infrastructure. Some evolved from older industries, like mining. When seen seams of coal, salt, or precious minerals ran beneath growing towns. Entire communities once descended underground to extract these resources. As the veins were tapped out or newer methods took over, many mines were simply abandoned. Over decades, city expansion crept over the surface, leaving a forgotten patchwork of tunnels below. These disused mines can pose risks: sinkholes, collapses, or toxic air pockets, but they also attract explorers and historians eager to document forgotten chapters of the city's industrial heritage. In rare cases, municipal governments convert sections into secure storage facilities or tourist attractions. Underground urban farms. A surprising twist in modern agriculture sees farms migrating underground. In repurposed tunnels or old bomb shelters, entrepreneurs install vertical growing systems equipped with LED lights, hydroponics, and climate controls. This allows for year-round production of herbs, leafy greens, and specialty crops right beneath city streets. The controlled environment also reduces pesticide use and water waste, making these underground farms a potentially eco-friendly solution for urban food deserts. While the concept may sound futuristic, it's already in practice in a few pioneering cities. Residents can purchase fresh produce grown literally below their feet. Some facilities even offer tours, introducing visitors to a new way of thinking about agriculture. Beyond the novelty, these underground farms highlight the adaptability of urban infrastructure. If a tunnel can host trains one century and crops the next, it underscores how cities perpetually reinvent themselves to meet the needs of their inhabitants. Tunnels for freight and logistics. To ease traffic congestion and streamline deliveries, some cities have proposed or built dedicated freight tunnels below their busiest districts. Whether transporting postal packages or industrial goods, these automated systems move cargo away from clogged surface roads, reducing pollution and travel time. In some cases, magnetic levitation or electric-powered carts zip through carefully sealed tubes, illustrating the cutting edge of subterranean logistics. For citizens, the payoff includes fewer delivery trucks clogging main avenues and potentially cleaner air and quieter streets. From a design standpoint, freight tunnels demand rigorous safety and maintenance checks, especially where they intersect existing subways or utility lines. Yet as online shopping and on-demand deliveries keep soaring, these underground corridors might become indispensable. They're a modern testament to how cities can bury their heaviest transport needs below ground, leaving the surface freer for pedestrians and daily life. Underground waste storage and disposal. As cities grow, waste management becomes increasingly complex, and sometimes the solution is to hide it from plain sight. In certain urban areas, specialized tunnels or cavities deep underground serve as repositories for non-recyclable rubbish, toxic byproducts, or even nuclear waste. By sealing harmful materials far beneath the surface, engineers aim to protect groundwater and surrounding ecosystems. However, these hidden vaults require vigilant monitoring, ensuring that corrosive elements or radiation don't seep out over time. On the flip side, some municipalities have experimented with underground composting systems or incineration plants to reduce landfill usage. These modern facilities leverage advanced filtration and aeration technologies to manage odors and emissions. Although the idea of burying waste may sound like a temporary fix, careful planning and robust safety measures can transform these subterranean zones into long-term, environmentally responsible solutions. It's a reminder that the underworld often plays a silent but crucial role in how we handle society's refuse. Underground music and nightlife. Not every subterranean spot is about storage or transit. In certain cities, abandoned basements, storage vaults, and old bomb shelters have been repurposed into intimate music venues, nightclubs, or speakeasy-style bars. The appeal is obvious. The space is secluded, it has great acoustics thanks to thick walls, and it exudes an unmistakable sense of mystery. Attendants sometimes feel like they're stepping into a hidden world separated from the everyday bustle above ground. These underground hangouts often foster a creative, offbeat culture. Musicians can experiment with new sounds, and partygoers relish the off-the-radar vibe. Some venues are fully licensed and advertised, while others operate clandestinely, spread by word of mouth or social media whispers. The end result is an eclectic, underground arts scene, literally reminding us that in the depths below, people still find ways to connect, celebrate, and express themselves through music and dance. Private tunnels in estates and historic homes. It's not just urban infrastructure or government projects that shape the subterranean landscape. Wealthy homeowners and historical estates have long been known to include private tunnels on their properties. In centuries past, these hidden passageways might have been used for escape routes, transporting valuables, or even conducting secret liaisons away from prying eyes. Today, they stand as intriguing relics of a time when privacy and security were paramount, especially for those with high social standing or political influence. In more modern contexts, these private tunnels might connect a main house to a garage, a wine cellar, or a secluded garden. While some are purely functional, protecting residents from harsh weather, others are indulgent curiosities, showcasing architectural flair and secretive whimsy. Touring an estate and discovering one of these concealed corridors adds an air of mystique, reminding us that the subterranean realm can sometimes be about personal intrigue just as much as civic necessity. And that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more of these kinds of videos. Thanks for watching.